Alright. Good news, guys. Dealt with Francois. Problem solved. Now we can go win the war. Don't all get up and congratulate me at once. You know what? Fuck him. I got a shotgun. Let's dance. Alright. So that appears to be the variation, depending on whether you take out Francois. And it's debatable whether the fall would kill him, but at the very least that takes him out of your... that makes him not your problem for now. Although honestly, him running off into no man's land and getting cut apart by artillery would probably make it work. Would probably get deal with him a lot faster. But yeah, that is the end of Amnesia the Bunker. For the most part, I think that's a one more thing to try. I wonder what's down in that pit. Ooh. Okay. So, worth jumping down to find out? You know what? Let's check it out. Follow the white rabbit. Got it. But yeah, wrapping up my thoughts. For the most part, I think this is a very good game, and iterates on the standard Amnesia horror template with some really good innovations that clearly took notes from Alien Isolation, but put their own kind of unique spin on it. I do think the connections to... like, the story obviously requires some knowledge of... I would say it requires knowledge of Amnesia Rebirth, but that definitely helps with explaining what's going on with your friend. Like, otherwise you wouldn't necessarily know, like, why is this water doing stuff? It can still work from kind of an eldritch horror way, it just feels more inexplicable that way. It just feels more inexplicable if you haven't played through it. But I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing. In terms of mechanics, in terms of the rhythm of play, the various interlocking systems, the way it encourages experimentation, the way little things change from one playthrough to the next, the interesting behavior of the creature. There's a lot going on here I really like, and I'm definitely going to play through this again. Because, yeah, I do want to try saving the prisoner. I want to see what stuff gets accessible in different orders, if there's, like, a preferred strategy that works. There's a lot to like here. There's a lot it does right on a moment-to-moment basis. Well, I think the ending is a little bit abrupt. I think overall it's a strong enough game that... it knows BG3's coming out. How'd you finish the game? Exactly, yeah. Not long now. Let's dance one more time. Yeah, see? Alright. Alright, well, out of ammo, can't win now. Down we go. Yeah! Ooh! Uh-oh, what's this? Oh, it's the shadow. Yeah, I recognize that noise. That's what happens whenever you get chased by the meat moss in... watch your step. That's what happens when you get chased by the fleshy stuff in Dark Descent and Rebirth. The Abyss Walkers. Hey, Orange! We got raiders! Welcome, people. Welcome. You're just in time for us to wrap up. Good to see you, Orange. How's it going tonight? Raiders of the Orange Ark. What were you playing? Playing more Darkest Dungeon? Or are you back on Pathfinder? Anyway, we'll go back to the main menu here. Ah, right. You're playing more Wrath. Good stuff. Yeah, you were playing the roguelite mode, weren't you? The Midnight Isle stuff. But anyway, yeah, for those just catching up, we did just finish Amnesia the Bunker, and I really like this game. I think it's a strong central gameplay system. I think the design of the bunker lends itself to replayability, that there's a lot of interesting ways that you could potentially get around in a different order. The creature makes for a clever nemesis that you can whose behavior you can exploit once you understand it, but remains a persistent nemesis. You can just defend yourself against it, but obviously it never permanently goes away until the very end. Party of Dwarf Kineticists doing really well. Nice! Interesting thought about that, but that'll be for the end of the stream. But yeah, I really like this. I think it's a smart update of the formula. It reminds me that Frictional is still kind of at the top of their craft as far as survival horror goes. And I'm eager to see what they do next with this style of gameplay, combining physics manipulation and persistent threats with the underlying eldritch horror of the series. They could very easily make more games in the broader Amnesia world that are just other outgrowths of the central horror, or they could do something entirely new. Like, I would be interested in seeing what's their next Soma, or what are they going to do something else with Penumbra, or come up with something else entirely. I want to see more of what these guys do, and I like what they produce more often than not. So I had a good time with this, and I would definitely recommend it. I do have one more thing to show, because we're finishing a little early tonight. There's one more thing. I did mention the Penumbra tech demo, and I still have a copy of that, so I'm going to get that running. Give me just a second here. So we'll step out of the bunker real quick. Kindly stay tuned. Yeah, just a quick shout out. The art is a commission from Von Gretschy. I really, really like it. It came out perfectly. Highly recommended if you're in the mood for, like, cityscape art, kind of moody background stuff. I think they did a fantastic job. Out of the bunker, into the other bunker. But yeah, this is the original tech demo for Penumbra, which came out back in 2006. Actually, I'm going to turn the volume down just a little bit further. As you can probably see, it is not really set up for a widescreen. Actually, it should be stretching it should be filling the screen properly, but the game will be kind of stretching to accommodate it. You'll see what I mean. They really only had kind of the basic setup for the plot of Penumbra, which, if you recall, was your father, the main character's father dies, and they get a book revealing the location of a bunker out in Greenland, and your father kind of begs you to destroy it, but you're sort of drawn to the greater mystery of what exactly is this thing. It's sort of implied that your character is not exactly in the right state of mind. But anyway, this is mostly showing off the physics engine that they work with, and just some very general gameplay conceits, some of which would make it into the full release of Penumbra, some of which did not. Let's get going. This is going to be pretty rough, the intro is going to be pretty rough, so do bear with me.
It began a week after my mother's passing, and I thought that I couldn't be in any worse emotional state.
So yeah, you can kind of tell that they're not really working with any kind of
mailbox. It was supposedly written by my father.
Direction or
my mother.
They're just getting whoever can be in front of a microphone.
The mail contained a note telling me he was dead, and asked forgiveness for not being there. There was also a key leading to a safe deposit box. I thought about just throwing it away, but I had always wondered who my father was, and I just couldn't let it go. After an internal struggle, my curiosity won, and I headed to the bank where the box was deposited. In the box was an old book, written in some strange language unknown to me.
Yep, thank you, Kirby.
There were also some notes that I figured must be in my father's handwriting. The text in the notes was hard to read, but after some effort I found out that a lot of them were about a place somewhere in Greenland. I wondered if this place might give me some clues about my late father. Days went by, and I couldn't get this place in Greenland off my mind. I knew I had to go there. Finally, I took a flight to Greenland, and after landing, I had to hitch a ride with a fishing boat. As we arrived at shore, ominous clouds were gathering in the sky. It seemed like a storm was on the way. Despite warnings from the fishermen, I started walking towards my destination. Now that I was close, I couldn't just stop and rest. As I was walking, a strange sensation went through my body. I wondered what was waiting for me out there. Half an hour later, I was caught in a fierce storm. Perhaps I should have listened to the fisherman. I struggled on blindly and thought I was about to die from exposure when I found some sheltering rocks. As I crawled under the rocks, I hit something hard and metallic. A hatch. Somehow I knew this was what I was looking for. I gripped the handle and pulled it open using all my remaining strength. Slowly, I stepped into the unknown.
So, to judge this by pure cause and effect, we get a book from our late father telling us about something out in Greenland, and we just throw caution to the wind and wander out into a storm. But yeah, the full release actually has you play through the intro somewhat from the fishing boat out onto the, out into the snow, and has you physically get in here, versus the tech demo just has you start out in here. But you can see already that the standard controls for Frictional games are already pretty strongly in place. Just the sense that there's a physical weight to objects that moves more quickly or slowly depending on where you grab it. There are hinge points for doors. There's some strong lighting. This and the bunker share the same engine. It's worked on a lot, but you can draw a direct line with some code remaining untouched. That's fascinating. Because I knew it shares... I know it was using the same as Dark Descent, but I didn't know that actually went back through Penumbra as well. That's fascinating. But honestly, it's a pretty strong engine as far as a survival horror environment goes. Okay, so we got some items here. So, what do we get through in our notebook? Or what do we get from there? I do not know why I'm writing this down. Perhaps I want to leave it as a final message in case I do not return, or maybe it is a way for me to deal with the terrible things I've experienced during the last hour. 1 hour ago, all hell broke loose. The lights went out, and all these strange things started happening. We've never really seen anything that has been going. We've never really seen anything that has been going here. Kind of an awkward phrase there. But there must have been some horrible activities. I think they mean going on here. The things I heard when running were not of this world. Something took my brother, and my father is still in that dark place. I just cannot leave him behind, and when I am done writing this, I will go back for him. I do not know how we will get out of here, though. The handle on the door to the outside is jammed. Perhaps Father knows another way. To be safe from the things in the darkness, I changed the code to the door to 1993. Now I'm going to search for my father. I hope he's is still alive. Same engine family, not the same engine. Okay. Yeah, I get the feeling there's some elements in common, just not necessarily the exact same thing. But yeah, you can see here, this is the origin, if you will, of their interaction. So you've got your grab point here, which by default is in the center of the screen. You press R, and you can freely move it around. And you can see here, when you drag this, you can see the box kind of wobble as it slides around. So they had a pretty good approximation of a physics engine for 2006. And while there's not a lot that actually depends on realistic physics, it gives a sense of weight to your actions when you can reach out and physically grab onto stuff and move it around. This is fairly novel for a horror game. The HBL series has at least some leftover bits between rewrites. This game predates Get Game. Oh, hang on a second. Wrong button. Yeah, I can imagine it would. But yeah, it's a pretty strong atmosphere. Like, the premise is bare bones. They expand on it. I'm gonna up the volume a little bit. They expand on it nicely in the full game, and they definitely... The writing is definitely a lot stronger, obviously. But as far as setup goes, they do a nice job with the atmosphere here. Anyway. Oh, great. I forgot to fill up the generator. Fantastic. So, yeah. Now we're in here and the lights are out. Oh, what's this? No way to open this till the panel is fixed. I think this just kind of swings back into place. It's malfunctioning. Seems the panel is using electric magnets to attach itself to the door. Hey! Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now what do we got here? Ooh, a key. Nice. One of two parts of a broken key. Now we do have dynamite here, which can be used to blow stuff up. But I forget if it's actually used for a puzzle solution or if it's used to deal with something specific. Engine of Theseus and broken ABIs. Alright, door won't open. Seems like there's no power. Alright. Sturdy metal rod. Excellent. The inanimate carbon rod will get us through this. Actually, can I use it on that? That does not work, no. Unfortunately, our glow stick is an infinite source of light. We do have a flashlight to go further down the hall. That won't really be necessary. Here we go. No power to the door. However, there's a little gap. Perhaps I can bend it open. So yeah, you can tell that while some plot elements would be worked out, it would still had... They still had to work out a lot of the meat and potatoes of the plot. A lot of the stylistic and atmospheric elements were in place. They knew exactly what they wanted to do as far as setting and location went, and the general atmosphere of the game, and it was mostly about filling in the story blanks. What do you mean you don't need to wind a flashlight to see? I know, right? Technology! Just crack a glow stick and you're good to go. Alright. No looking backup generator. Might still work. Generator won't start. Need some... Okay, of course. We need some fuel. Yep. I'm seeing the through line to Amnesia the bunker already. Broken and there's no way I can mend it. Alright, we can't get that going. But yeah, there's... The consistent well, there's a lot of consistent features, but one consistent feature that stands out to me with their games is just top-notch sound design. And even now, I've got it lower, so I've got the volume down so we can be heard over it, because the music was kind of playing loudly, but the ambient sounds go a long way to create the sense of this place, and just this feeling of you are alone in this decaying facility, and anything that makes noise could potentially be a threat or something you might have to deal with. And you quickly learn to isolate what noises are just background noises and what noises are things actually out there running around. They do some nice audio cues to sort of highlight when danger is nearby. In fact, I will up the volume just a little bit more. Alright, now then. Okay, rubber hose. If I recall right, I believe there is something around here we can use. But yeah, the games has a great sense of physicality to them. Like you can see here when we walk into a drawer, even though we can't see our feet, our body has a presence and we're physically pushing things around. Okay, that's stuck, but no, there we go. Yeah. A sense that your body is physically inhabiting the world, and you have to reach out and actually grab and move stuff around. It was novel at the time, and it remains a signature feature of the Frictional's games. Really adds something. Okay. No way back until the power has been restored. Alright, so we do need to get the generator going. And I think we need to... I believe there's a fuel barrel that we use. Actually, oh, here's another door. There's a gas can lying on top of the shelf. It's out of reach for me, though. I must get it down somehow. Okay. I'll take that. That's a painkiller. I'll take that. That's dynamite. Flares. That's useful. Batteries. Okay, so this is... I've talked about this before, but this is an example of something the games generally let you do. Is that you see there's an object up there, we could just jump up and grab it, or you can grab this here shelf and just shake it. And then the object you need falls to the floor, and then you just grab it. Now, it's a fuel can, so realistically that would kind of spill all over the place, but just the fact that you can solve a puzzle by just grabbing something and knocking it over, that is very novel for a puzzle game. You usually don't get solutions that direct. And that's kind of what I like about Frictional stuff, that their solutions to problems, they usually tend to be... They're usually not trying to be abstract in any sense. They're usually just... Oh, damn, gasoline poured out on the floor. Seems to be a hose missing. Need one before I can pour the gasoline into the backup generator. Yep. Can't combine that. Okay, so I think I gotta put this there. There we go. But yeah, I mean, a lot of their games do often have what I would call traditional adventure game puzzle logic, where sometimes you'll need to do something a little bit abstract in order to solve it. But by giving it a sense of physicality to what you're doing, I think that tends to inform their design decisions more often than not. And it leads them to come up with problems that have simple and practical solutions. Yeah, traditional puzzle-solving philosophy would require you to find a raccoon and a fishing pole. Yeah, exactly. Or you'll need to, like, slap a windmill with a fish in order to get a key fragment or something. Alright, so now the generator is on. Oop. There we go. Okay, lights are on. This is good. Oh, hey, here we go. Yeah, we couldn't see this in the darkness. So we've got 2 halves of the keys, and we'll need something to actually fix them. More on that later. Alright. Magnet to attach to the panel. Unfortunately, we don't need the key for that panel. Let's just open. What stench? What is that? I feel caution is required. Sneaking and leaning seems like a good idea. And then there's the Hexen School of Puzzle Solving. You flip a lever and are informed that 1/64th of the puzzle has been solved. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about with audio cues. So now we've got, other than the game warning us that we might be in danger, there's a sense that there's something wrong here. And it's a very good idea to proceed carefully. Issues, I've already checked the level, and you have no idea where the other 63 levers might be. Well, yeah, you're gonna have to go back through a portal, you're gonna have to go look at the corner that you ran by while you were trying to destroy a whole bunch of enemies. Alright. Jar containing what seems to be a liquid of some kind. Can't really detect any odor coming from the bottle. Sure would be nice if I could grab that and swing it. That would be for Penumbra Overture. You've found a secret! Okay, now if I remember right, we sort of need to act quickly here. It's locked. Aha. Thick electric cable seems to have been torn apart. It'd be quite hazardous if the power was on. It's an old and rusty power switch. Starting to see what they're putting together here. So in a minute, we're going to have a thing bust through there, and we're going to have a very narrow window to kill it. Oh, hell. Fuck. Here we go. Got it. What is this thing? The odor coming from it is truly awful. Just felt awful there. So, yeah. This, I believe, is called a roach. It's essentially basically like a weird cross between a flying pig with bug features and such. It's never really clear what it is, but it's one of the only hostile creatures in the demo here. And it never really showed up in Penumbra, the main games after this. It had a brief appearance in a fan game called Penumbra Necrolog, but the games wound up using other enemies entirely. The Overture just had the dogs and the spiders and the rockworm, whereas Black Plague had the Turngate creatures. It was kind of an interesting window into their creature designs before they really had a sense of what they were going to do with the story. Okay. Cannot pass here unless it turned off somehow. That's not the only way to kill one. As you can see, we do have dynamite here, but it's kind of risky to do that, and you'll see later. We'll try dealing with the other creature with it. It's a bit of a gamble here. So here's another example of physicality informing puzzle design. So you've got the steam right here, which we can't just cross without killing ourselves, but you follow the pipes here, and you grab this mattress, pull it out of the way, and you got this thing right here. Now you just need to grab it and turn. Actually, it looks like you had to do it for all three. So, here we go. There we go. It's 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, this is the reason the demo stuck out to me, and I still kind of like it even after all these years. It's a strong statement of what kind of games they want to make and what kind of systems they want to play with. And it just kind of cemented Frictional as a studio to watch in terms of survival horror titles. Oh shit! Okay, I think that might have just been a jump scare. I don't think something's coming out just yet. Lock on the hatch for the ventilation drum seems to have failed, and the hatch is swung open. Perhaps possible to climb up in the drone. You want to talk about the enemies, it's also worth mentioning the original design for the game was intending to include a whole Gug. That is interesting. I did not know about that one. Anyway, thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. Very generous of you. I do know there was another enemy in Necrolog that was planned for the game, but never implemented. It was this weird, like, spider enemy that was made out of people, and it was kind of like bent over backwards. Like, if you remember the, like, ice spider enemy from Cryostasis, it looked a little like that, just with, like, normal fleshy limbs. Well, normal in air quotes. Hey, this is what I was looking for. But yes, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that. Alright. Alright, so I think if we drag the boxes over here, get high enough. Oop. There. Let's just jump into the thing. It very definitely isn't a monster ambush point. I just love the relatively cavalier nature with which we decided to go to frickin' Greenland. Just because we found something of interest from our father. Carl's the imposter. He's venting. Yep. It was me. I was sus all along. Why is this equipment behind a fence? Doesn't look to be of much importance. Rusty and old. Murky pieces of wood. I think there's a machine here we use to fix the key. More dynamite. That's good. We'll need as much as we can. Dynamite served us well in the bunker, and it will serve us here too. Typical. Power cord is missing. Seems I'm getting nowhere with this machine until I have a replacement cord. Alright, we can do that. Alright, how are we doing on power? Almost full. Hey, there we go. Seems to be some kind of electrical cord on top of the shelf. Might be able to use it to power up the machine in the other room. Thank you, game. Appreciate the signposting. Alright. Now, we could use what appears to be this vehicle bay here. There must be an elevator going up to, going to the surface. I have no idea how to get the door open, though. It seems stuck. Alright. Batteries, be careful. Yep, I'll get right on that. Now this is fixed in place. But I believe if we just hop on this, just barely reach it. Not quite. Alright, we'll do it this way. Actually, no, we probably could shove this box over here and do it that way. Or maybe not. There we go. Just build us a nice little box tower here. Hey! Ah, well. Hey! There it is. Beautiful, beautiful. Physics! Yeah. Because, yeah, obviously the solution you're meant to do is just to use this there. But I like that you don't necessarily have to. There we go. The mark of a good game, well, a mark of a good game, is if the solution you have in mind manages to work, even if you're not really sure it's what the developers intended. Not every game has to do this, obviously, but I have really come to appreciate games that let you fuck around a little bit and find things out. Let players experiment. Alright. Alright, now we have an intact key here. This is ultimately a pretty short demo. There are only a couple more rooms that we need to check out. So, back this way. Yep. What is the code here? Oh, right, I came in through a ceiling hatch. Yeah, considering that the initial draft did include a GUG, you have to wonder how Lovecraft's original idea for the game is. Yeah, that's the thing, because ultimately the turn gate were... Oh boy. Okay. Right. Where was I? Right, the turn gate. Because ultimately they turned out to be kind of this weird hive mind thing that didn't really have a concrete form so much as it was just kind of using the materials it had on hand. Which is an interesting concept for a horror game, and I do think they took it in a interesting direction, stylistically and narratively. But you could tell they were kind of working with some kind of basic character models. And they didn't really let their imagination go like they did in later games. There were elements of cosmic horror, but not really Lovecraftian in any grand scope of in any sense of something unfathomably big. Anyway, if I recall right, we do have a problem coming here soon. So let's see if we can deal with this thing. Actually, hang on a second. First, just put stuff in the way. Just to slow it down a little bit so we can approach this from an advantageous direction. What was that? I'm sure I heard a noise. So yeah, we don't have a lot of time here. recall, right? There. Oh, fuck. I think it'll eventually bust through the door. How are we doing on battery time? We kind of want it to be in the room when we deal with it later. Kind of don't. Alright, it might actually be stuck there. Nice. Anyway. This will take us to some other rooms. One of which has some plot tidbits for us. Recall right, we go out here, we go out here. Although, maybe I needed the... Shit, I think I needed a code from that room. Did I get any other notes? I don't think I did. Curse is foiled by my lack of prehensile appendages. Yeah, that's a bit of a limitation. Okay, no, we're good. Alright. Alright, we got us a working computer here. Awesome. Let's read everybody's email and find out all their juicy secrets. This particular mail seems quite interesting. I added the text in my notebook. Yeah, I like that we're just going to stand here and write down the email instead of just read it off the screen. Alright. Dear coworkers, due to the hardware failure earlier today, access codes will be changed effective immediate. New codes are as follows. Level 1 Office, 6667, that's very promising. Workshop, 9834. Level 1 Entrance, 1243. Level 1 Access to Level 2, 1124. Okay, so less plot stuff and more plot advancement. Or progression, you might say. Alright. Not much else here. Can I grab this and break it? Doesn't look like it. Fuck you, room. This is what I think you're a physics engine. Alright. So yeah, this goes out into the hall. That creature will be waiting for us. This is our only defense. Can we kill it? Let's find out. Oh, right. 667. There we go. I like that we need a code to get out of the room. Surprisingly, we don't need one. Oh, shit! The game crashed. The bat crab can't eat you if you blow yourself up first, or if the game crashes first. Okay, good. So we're right here. Excellent, excellent. Alright. I'm gonna laugh if... I'm gonna laugh if me making a barricade actually results in the game crashing. There we go. Okay. There it is. You can see it. Dynamite time! Whoopah! Alright. Come and get it. Yeah! Get fucked. Where did it come from? What has been going on down here? Yeah, take that, bat crab. Perhaps it's for the best their future games didn't have combat. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? They did have that sort of janky system in Overture, where you like click and drag to swing a hammer or a pickaxe and such. And you could kind of just stun lock enemies and bring them down, and it was well-intentioned, but you could tell they were kind of... the reach just kind of exceeded their grasp. I think the bunker is a much more successful implementation of that idea, where you can defend yourself but not necessarily solve all your problems with violence. Anyway, I believe this is... I won't accept any code input unless I have a passage card. Oh, okay, so we need the card from up here. But yeah, I found it kind of interesting that you can defend yourself in a very janky, roundabout kind of way. And it shows what they were thinking of. Okay, yeah, so it did break down the door. It just couldn't get past the barricade. Awesome. It shows that they were playing with these kind of gameplay concepts very early on in their history as a studio. And they weren't going to just lean on physics engine run and hide horror. They were going to play around with what you could do in it. And use the creature design to tell part of the story. Now, where's that card? It's around here somewhere. Actually, maybe it's in the other room. There were other locked doors. It's probably in here somewhere. In fact, if I remember right, one amusing thing about Mr. Flappyjaw from Amnesia: The Dark Descent, the starter servant enemies, is that their vision is based on line of sight, and if you held a box up in front of them and like broke line of sight so they couldn't see you with their eyes, they would break off pursuit. Trying to remember if... I'm positive I saw a video about this, and I just found that kind of amusing. It's a very... It is reminiscent of, like, fucking with people in Skyrim by, like, just covering a shopkeeper's head with a bucket and then stealing stuff, that kind of thing. That is... Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I thought. I just thought that was precious. Oh, wait, no, I remember. Well, first off, Okay. 9834... Oh, wait, 9834. I did that wrong, my bad. No? Maybe this doesn't have one. Okay, 1243-1124. I know that's not the office code. Because, yeah, that is the workshop. Anyway, I remember what I'm doing wrong here. There's something else. There is a different thing I have to do, and it has to do with this jar we picked up. Yeah, this is it. The jar is acid, and we use it to melt this lock here. I think. What? Maybe not. How could that be done? Okay, maybe we use dynamite. Hosha! Ow! Damn it, dynamite, you failed me. Alright. I could have sworn this was an acid we use. YouTube just recommended me a video where some YouTube man tries to explain why the bunker is in a horror game and doesn't understand horror. Good grief. Oh, God. Thanks, Kirby. There's just no pleasing some people. Okay, I think I might have missed something that I combined with that to make acid. Perhaps the notes have some useful information. Oh, there are some notes, okay. Oh, hey, what's this? Memo from Administrator. Seem to have been outsiders snooping around here again. To make sure that no unauthorized personnel get in here anymore, I'm changing the password. Oh, well, that would explain it. 3654. Must be kept confidential so that our integrity is not compromised. Be on alert for any suspicious activity. These intrusions are repeated, we might have to take harder measures. Alright. Is there anything else we can grab? Anything that might be possibly of an ascetic nature? We'll make one more sweep and then we'll call it. We are literally right at the end. What happens is you get that locker open and then you get a key card and then you enter the final room and the demo just kind of ends. It's honestly rather abrupt. Mostly I just want to get to be completionist about it. But try to imagine this in 2006 when contemporaries are probably... I'm trying to think what would be around that time. Like, you'd be at least... I mean, Resident Evil 4 was 2004, I believe. So, probably not yet at Resident Evil 5, but... definitely into the more actiony phase of the genre. But honestly, it is kind of a fun walk down memory lane. Notable 2006 horror games would be Scratches and Rule of Rose. Scratches, I definitely remember. I was pleased to see Civi do a video on it. And what's funny is that even knowing the outcome and the gimmick of the game, and even knowing how it works and how little actually happens, it's still very effective in its sound design. Like, that music that plays when you go down to the basement is just positively chilling. Even just rewatching it through the video just got under my skin in a good way. And just the fact that, well, it'd be spoiling to say, but basically there's not a lot that happens in the game in terms of, let's say, threats. Like, it's kind of a Myst-like game where you're viewing... you're navigating through a fairly static environment, and not a lot changes right in front of the player's eyes, and it just relies largely on the narrative build-up and the audio design to sort of instill a sense of dread. And I think it does that very effectively. It's very... it's very classical, spooky, haunted house. But not in the sense that there's, like, actual ghosts there, but more like playing on your mind psychologically and making you wonder what flavor of horror you're going to be dealing with. And it does that very effectively. At a minimum, I'd recommend watching Civi's video on it, because he does a really nice breakdown of what it does right, the moments where it falls into kind of classic adventure game logic, but otherwise does its own thing, and quite effectively at that. Ah, well. Alright, your secret's gonna remain locked. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. Basically, all that happens is you get the key card, you get another door, you enter a room, everything flashes red, your character collapses. And then they go... Demo ended. We're gonna be coming out with a full game at some point. Stay tuned for news from Frictional. It's all very abrupt. But honestly, I think it still holds up as far as a taste of what they had in mind, both as far as... Penumbra went, and as the arc of their catalog went. Frictional remains a developer I'm very interested in. I like seeing what they come up with. The Amnesia the Bunker was a very strong entry that makes me excited to see what else they do, and I'm definitely going to give that one another replay, because I want to play around with its system some more. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good night. I will be taking next week off. We will be getting, most likely, to Baldur's Gate 3 the following week. I believe it'll be out by then. If not, I'll improvise something until that does come out. We will be adjusting time somewhat, because I'll be playing that with, I'll play that in co-op mode with a couple friends that some of you might remember. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. Tomorrow night we'll be playing this game called The Dwarves, which is basically, what if Lord of the Rings was all about the dwarves? It sounds simple, but there's a little more going on that I want to highlight that I kind of like. Take a lot of Soma-like game, but not one released on the prototype. Yeah, I kind of feel that. I feel like there'd be another. I feel like they have some more imaginative horror in them that they could go with. Yeah, what if LTR but XCOM? Not exactly. It's a little more involved than that. I'll show you when we get there. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. See you next time.